It was a spring day when fate orchestrated our meeting. The park was alive with the songs of birds and the laughter of children. I was there, lost in thoughts about my next business venture. When I first saw her, Sarah was sitting alone on a bench, a book in her hands, her blue eyes reflecting the clear sky above. As I approached her, I felt an inexplicable pull. "Excuse me," I began. "I couldn't help but notice the book you're reading. It's one of my favorite." She looked up, her gaze an ocean of calm. "Really?" "I just started it, but it's captivating," she replied, her voice soft yet clear. "That's an understatement. The Great Gatsby is a masterpiece. I'm Thomas, by the way." "Sarah," she said, offering a smile that seemed to light up her entire being. "Do you often talk to strangers about books?" "Only when they're reading something as good as that. What brings you to the park today, Sarah?" "I needed an escape from the chaos of work and life. And you?" "The same, I suppose. Sometimes it's nice to just breathe and be away from it all." We continued talking, the conversation flowing as naturally as a gentle stream. I learned about her love for literature, her job at a local art gallery, and her dreams of traveling the world. She listened intently as I spoke of my business ventures and my passion for music. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the park, I realized I didn't want this encounter to end. "Would you like to grab a coffee sometime?" I ventured, hoping my eagerness wasn't too apparent. Sarah's smile widened. "I'd like that, Thomas. How about tomorrow?" "Tomorrow it is," I agreed, feeling a surge of excitement. We exchanged numbers, and as I walked away, I couldn't help but feel that this was the beginning of something extraordinary. Little did I know then how profound an impact she would have on my life. That serendipitous encounter in the park was not just a meeting of two souls, but the start of a journey that would test the very limits of love, resilience, and devotion. After a short period, they got married. Months had woven into years, and our life together blossomed with the comfort and predictability of married life. The memory of our first meeting in the park remained vivid, a cherished chapter in the story of us. That was until one fateful evening changed everything. I was returning from a late business meeting, the night sky shrouded in an inky cloak. The roads were slick from a recent downpour. I remember the sharp turn, the screech of tires, and then dark. When I awoke, I was confined to a hospital bed, my body a patchwork of bandages and casts. The beeping of machines synchronized with the throbbing pain that enveloped my body. Sarah was there, her face etched with worry and fear, but trying to mask it with a brave smile. "Thomas," she whispered, her voice trembling. "You're awake." "Thank..." "What happened?" My own voice sounded distant, alien. "You were in an accident. A car hit you. But you're going to be okay," she assured me, though her eyes betrayed her words. The doctor entered then, a man with a gentle demeanor, but eyes that had seen too much. "Mr. Reynolds, you've suffered significant injuries. You're lucky to be alive. The road to recovery will be long and challenging." "Will I walk again?" I asked, the question laced with a fear I'd never known. "It's too early to say," he replied cautiously. "Your spine has suffered trauma. We've done what we can, but it's going to take time and extensive rehabilitation." Sarah squeezed my hand, her touch a lifeline in the storm of my despair. "We'll get through this, Thomas, whatever it takes." In the days that followed, the full extent of my condition became apparent. Partial paralysis gripped my body, a cruel reminder of the fragility of life. I oscillated between anger, despair, and a deep sense of help. Sarah was a constant presence, her strength unwavering even as I pushed her away in my moments of frustration. "Why are you even here?" I lashed out one evening, my voice heavy with bitterness. "You didn't sign up for this. You deserve a full life, not this burden." "Stop it, Thomas," Sarah replied firmly, her blue eyes intense. "This is not just about you. I love you, in health and in sickness." I won't abandon you when you need me the most." Her words were a balm, yet also a sharp reminder of the enormity of the situation. The woman I had married for her beauty and charm was revealing a depth of character I had never known. As she held my hand, her resolve clear, I realized that this tragedy was not just a test of my physical strength, but of our love and commitment to each other. The days turned into weeks, and the hospital room became our new world. Sarah, who I had once known as the carefree spirit, fond of luxuries and comfort, began to transform before my eyes. She traded her designer clothes for nursing scrubs, her jewelry for a caregiver's patience. One particularly grueling day, after a session of painful physiotherapy, I lay exhausted, my body and spirit at their lowest. Sarah came to my side, her hands gentle as she helped adjust my position. "I can't do this anymore, Sarah. It's too much," I murmured, feeling defeated. "Thomas, you are stronger than you think. We're in this together," she said, her voice steady, imbued with a strength that seemed to emanate from her very soul. "I never imagined you could be this resilient," I admitted, looking at her with a mixture of awe and guilt. She smiled, a hint of sadness in her eyes. "I never imagined it either. But love, Thomas, it changes us in ways we never expect." As days passed, Sarah took on roles I never thought she would. She became my nurse, my therapist, my advocate. She learned to manage my medications, to understand the intricacies of my treatment, and even to perform some of the nursing duties with a skill that surprised both me and the hospital staff. "Why don't we get a professional nurse? You don't have to do all this," I suggested one day, watching her meticulously clean and dress my wounds. "Because I want to be the one caring for you. I want to be part of every step towards your recovery," she replied with determination. Her dedication was unwavering. She spent hours reading about spinal injuries, consulting with my doctors, and learning physiotherapy techniques. Her former social life, once filled with gallery openings and shopping trips, was, "Sarah, you've given up so much. Your job, your friends." I started one evening, my heart heavy with guilt. She cut me off, placing a finger on my lips. "I haven't given up anything, Thomas. I've chosen a different priority. You are my priority. Our love is worth every sacrifice." It was in those moments, in the quiet dedication and the tireless care she provided, that I saw the true essence of the woman I married. Sarah's transformation was not just a change in routine or responsibilities. It was a metamorphosis of character, driven by the deep, unwavering love she had for me. Her strength became my beacon, guiding me through the darkest moments of my despair and igniting a hope that perhaps, just perhaps, we could overcome this catastrophe together. As my recovery journey continued, the financial strain began to cast a shadow over us. The medical bills accumulated like a silent snowfall, relentless and cold. I could see the worry etching deeper into Sarah's face each day as she sorted through the mounting expenses. One evening, as we sat together in the dimly lit room, I broached the topic that had been haunting me. "Sarah, the bills, they're becoming overwhelming. Maybe we should consider downsizing." She finished my sentence, a note of resolve in her voice. "I've thought about it, Thomas. I'll start with my personal belongings. There are things I can live without." "But your jewelry, the things you love," I protested weakly, knowing how much she cherished her collection. "They're just things, Thomas. You're what I love. You're what matters," she said firmly, her blue eyes not wavering from mine. Over the next few weeks, Sarah took action. Her jewelry, some of her designer clothes, and other personal luxuries were sold. Each sale seemed to lift a weight off her, even as my heart grew heavier with each item she let go. She also transformed our home kitchen into a small culinary workshop, dedicating herself to learning and preparing specialized meals to aid in my recovery. I would often watch her from my wheelchair, marveling at her determination. "Where did you learn to cook like this?" I asked one day as she brought me a plate of carefully prepared. I've been watching online tutorials and consulting with a nutritionist. I want to make sure what I cook helps you recover faster," she explained, a hint of pride in her voice. Her dedication extended beyond our home. She started taking odd jobs, anything she could manage while still caring for me. Her resilience in the face of our adversity was like a beacon in the night. One night, as we lay in bed, I turned to her, my heart heavy with gratitude and guilt. "Sarah, you're doing so much, sacrificing so much. I feel like I'm holding you back." She nestled closer, her voice soft but unwavering. "Thomas, in marriage, we promise to support each other in good times and bad. This is just a part of that promise. Seeing you get better, that's all I need. We're in this together, remember?" Her words, simple yet profound, resonated deep within me. Sarah's sacrifices and strength were not just acts of duty, but profound expressions of her love and commitment to our life together. Her actions spoke louder than any words could, teaching me the true meaning of partnership and the depth of strength that love can invoke. The long nights in the quiet of our home often led me down the path of introspection. The world outside continued its relentless pace, but within these walls, time seemed to stand still, allowing me to reflect on the journey thus far. One such night, as Sarah slept soundly beside me, I found myself wide awake, lost in thought. The moon cast a gentle glow through the window, painting her face in a serene light. Watching her, a realization dawned on me: the depth of her love and the enormity of her sacrifice. I gently stroked her hair, careful not to wake her, and whispered, "I didn't know you had such strength in you, Sarah. I underestimated you, and I'm sorry." To my surprise, she stirred and then turned to face me, her eyes sleepy but aware. "Thomas, we all have untapped strength inside us. Love brings it out. I didn't know I had it in me either, until I needed it for you." Her words struck a chord deep within me. I've been so self-absorbed, lost in my own pain and frustration. I failed to see the full extent of your struggle, your tireless effort. She propped herself up on one elbow, looking at me intently. "It's not your fault. This situation, it's bigger than both of us, but we're handling it together. That's what counts. I see you now, Sarah, not just as my wife or caregiver, but as the incredible, resilient woman you are. You've become the core of my strength." She smiled softly, reaching out to touch my face. "And you're my motivation, Thomas. Your fight is my fight. We'll get through this." Lying there, with her hand in mine, I felt a surge of gratitude and love. It was a humbling experience, recognizing the full measure of her devotion. I had always prided myself on being the strong one in our relationship, Yet, in our greatest trial, it was Sarah who emerged as the pillar of strength. This realization brought with it a sense of profound respect and admiration for her. It was a pivotal moment in our journey, a turning point where I not only acknowledged her sacrifices, but also recognized her as an equal partner in. It was a lesson in humility and love, learned in the quiet hours of reflection and honest conversation. Our journey was far from over, but this newfound understanding brought with it a renewed sense of hope and a deeper bond that would see us through the trials yet to come. Years had passed since the accident, and with them came a gradual but profound change. My recovery, once a distant dream, had become a reality through relentless therapy, an indomitable will, and Sarah's unwavering support. We were sitting in our living room one evening, the kids playing nearby, when I felt a surge of emotion that needed expression. "Sarah, do you realize it's been 5 years since the accident?" I said, watching our children build a fortress of pillows. She looked at me, a gentle smile on her face. "Yes, 5 years of challenges and triumphs. It seems like a lifetime ago." I was thinking, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here today, walking, playing with our kids, living a normal life. You're the reason I made it through. She took my hand in hers, her touch as comforting as ever. "Thomas, we made it through together. Your strength and determination were just as vital. But you were my rock, Sarah. When I was lost in despair, you were the light leading me back. You believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself. Our love was the light, Thomas. It was always about our love. That's what got us through, she said, her eyes reflecting the depth of her conviction. I nodded, feeling a profound sense of gratitude. I vow to spend the rest of my days showing you how much I appreciate and love you. You're not just my wife. You're my hero. Sarah laughed softly, a sound that still made my heart skip a beat. And you're my stubborn, resilient husband. We're quite the pair, aren't we? The room filled with the joyful noise of our children, a reminder of the beautiful life we had rebuilt together. We should tell them our story one day. The whole story, I suggested. Yes, she agreed, her eyes watching our children with a mixture of pride and love. They should know about strength, resilience, and the power of love. They should know about the journey we've been on, the journey that made us who we are. As the evening drew to a close, I reflected on the journey we had undertaken. From the depths of despair to the heights of gratitude, it was a journey marked by pain, love, sacrifice, and ultimately, redemption. Sarah, my wife, my partner, had been the beacon through it all. Her love, the compass guiding us home. In her, I had found not just a partner for life, but a testament to the power of love and the strength of the human spirit. Our story, a tapestry of trials and triumphs, was a legacy we would pass on to our children. A legacy of unyielding love and eternal gratitude. In the quiet twilight of our years, Sarah and I often found ourselves reflecting on one evening as we sat on our porch, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and pink. I felt the weight of all those years, both joyous and challenging, settle around us like a soft blanket. Sarah, do you remember the park where we first met? I asked, my voice tinged with nostalgia. She smiled, her eyes reflecting the fading light. How could I forget? That's where our story began, where I met the man who would change my life in ways I never imagined. I've been thinking about our journey, the trials we faced, the love we shared. It's been an extraordinary life, hasn't it? It has, she agreed, her hand finding mine. We've seen both the best and the worst of times, but through it all, our love was the one constant, the one thing we could always count on. I used to think love was just a feeling, but it's so much more. It's action, sacrifice, resilience. It's what you showed me every day when I was at my lowest, I said, my voice heavy with emotion. And it's what you showed me every day with your determination to recover, to be there for me and our children. Love is a powerful force, Thomas. It shapes us, molds us into better versions of ourselves. As we sat in comfortable silence, our granddaughter, Lily, came bounding onto the porch. Grandpa, Grandma, tell me a story, she pleaded, her eyes wide with the innocence of youth. Sarah laughed, a sound as beautiful and timeless as ever. What kind of story would you like to hear, Lily? A story about love, a real love story, Lily said, settling down at our feet. Well, once upon a time, I began, glancing at Sarah with a smile. There was a man and a woman who met in a park, much like the one we often take you to. And they fell in love, got married, and thought they would live happily ever after. But life had other plans, Sarah continued, her voice soft but clear. The man had an accident and everything changed. But through it all, their love only grew stronger, I added, my hand squeezing Sarah's. The woman cared for the man, and they faced many challenges. But they overcame them together with love, Sarah said, her eyes shining with unshed. And they learned that love is not just about the good times, but also about standing together during the hard times. It's about sacrifice, patience, and never giving up on each other, I concluded. Lily looked us, her eyes wide with wonder. That's the best love story I've ever heard. It's our story, Lily, Sarah said, her voice filled with pride. It's the story of our love, the legacy we want to leave for you and your siblings. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, I realized that our love story was not just ours, but a legacy we were passing down. It was a tale of triumph, adversity, a testament to the enduring power of love. Our story was a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest times, love can be a guiding light. Love is the most powerful force in the world, Lily, I said softly. It can heal wounds, bridge gaps, and make the impossible possible. Your grandmother and I learned that through our journey together. And now, we pass this legacy on to you, Sarah added, her gaze tender. To love fiercely, to stand strong in the face of adversity, and to always cherish the ones you hold dear. Lily snuggled closer, a thoughtful expression on her young face. I want to have a love like yours when I grow up, she whispered. And you will, sweetheart, Sarah assured her, kissing her forehead. Love is a beautiful journey, and it's waiting for you when you're ready. As the night deepened and Lily drifted off to sleep, cradled in the warmth of our shared memories, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace. Our love had not only shaped our lives, but would continue to live on in the hearts of those we loved. This was our legacy, a legacy of love, resilience, and hope. A legacy that would endure long after we were gone, echoing through generations. A timeless testament to the power of love to overcome all odds.